What does it all mean? Find out with Suubi and David.
Welcome to our very first episode of the Sia original podcast, Behind the Hymns. My name is David,
My name is Suubi.
and we're going to be your host for this weekly, bi-weekly, we're not too sure yet, but podcast where we will be looking at different hymns. So Suubi, tell me, why did you decide to do this?
I think you'd messaged me a while ago about what we were going to do and what the idea was, and it was really interesting. So I was kind of like, yeah, this could be a cool thing to tell people more about and learn more about myself. So I thought, yeah, I'd want to join and do this podcast with you.
Very well. So the reason
about
why
you?
I decided, I don't know if you're curious to know. Let me just share. Well, I'm part of this organization called Christian Youth Association, CYA for short.
Wow.
And then I wanted an opportunity to reach out to more Christians, especially nowadays where we don't get to meet physically as much. So how can we reach out to more Christians in a more digitalized way? And I thought, why not try a podcast? I always like listening to podcasts. Why not start one? But the thing is, the podcast we're trying to do is called Behind the Hymns. So it obviously involves singing.
Yeah.
I'm not a great singer. So the first person that popped up into my head was Suubi. That's why I messaged you. So are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I think it should be really good.
Yes. So I currently go to university. Are you a university student yourself?
Yeah, I am. I'm in my final year.
What do you study?
I study marketing.
How's that going?
It's going.
So you're going to use your major to help market this podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
Help us go viral.
Let's hope.
All right, hopefully. Okay. Well, I study education, so perhaps I can educate all our listeners about
Exactly.
this. See, all our majors feed into this. Well, anyways, we're going to introduce the music. So that's one major part of our podcast. And we are going to be listening to the original hymns and then share feedback about it.
Behind the hymns.
My dad is a pastor. Did you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Of course. Why are you lying to me? Of course you come to
It was sarcasm.
Okay, so my dad's a pastor, and actually my dad's father was also a pastor. So I recently turned 25, and for the past 25 years, never missed Sunday service. And what do we always begin our Sunday services with? Hymns, right? So there's so many hymns I know. I know no story behind any of the hymns. So I thought it would be a lot more interesting to know,
Yeah.
I like watching movies. When you hear or read about the interpretations of the different movies, it comes to you differently, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I like listening to the hymns and then learning about it. It can, come to you differently as well. As I said, I didn't know much about hymns. So I quickly went on to Wikipedia, as one does. And I found some definition which I copied and pasted from Wikipedia here. So Suubi, do you mind reading the definition that I copied and pasted? It's right below history of hymns.
Of course. Forgive me, my reading skills are not that great, but yeah. A hymn is a type of song, usually religious, specifically written for the purpose of adoration or prayer, and typically addressed to a deity or deities, or to the prominent figure of personification. The word hymn derives from the Greek hymnos, which means a song of praise. A writer of hymns is known as a hymnist. The singing of or composition of hymns is called hymnody. Collections of hymns are known as hymnals or hymn books, and hymns may or may not include instrumental accompaniment.
Wow, thank you for that. So reference to Wikipedia.
Yep.
I think, a university got a reference right.
Of course.
This is plagiarism. So all credits to Wikipedia. I did not come up with this definition. But I was researching into this, and apparently the first ever hymn was actually not a Christian hymn, but it was an Egyptian hymn where they sang jumble of words
Wow.
that not many people understood, but it was
Okay.
sort of like divine language that they're speaking to their gods.
Ooh.
I could try singing it for you, but
Please, I'd love to see that.
okay. I don't think that our listeners would like that. So, moving on. So, just to clarify, we will not be studying about Egyptian hymns or Greek hymns.
Yeah.
We'll be studying Christian hymns, as this is a
Yes.
Christian podcast.
Behind the hymns.
So, as you all know, the Book of Psalms. So, Subi? Let me ask you a question out of the
Yeah.
blue. How often do you read the Bible?
These days, I'm trying to be good. So maybe like once every 2 days.
Every 2 days, and how? Not bad, not bad. So, and every time you open the Bible, how many pages are you reading?
It's an app, so I don't read pages.
So, how many chapters? Or should I ask how many verses?
Yeah, verses would be better. Maybe about 6 or 7 verses.
There's 7 verses every 2 days.
Yep, yeah.
But each verse is like 10 words. No?
That's a lot of words. You know, I've got to process it.
So you read 70 words in 2 days.
Yeah. And I feel so good after.
And that's being better this year, right?
It's better than nothing, which was last year. Whew.
It's true. Well, what part in the Bible are you reading nowadays?
That's a good question.
Are you sure it's only been 2 days since you opened the Bible?
Maybe. These days are just a blur.
Okay. So I'm guessing you don't remember the last time you opened the app.
Not quite.
Anyways, moving on. The reason why I ask is actually, you know, the Book of Psalms. I think it's the longest book in the Bible. I may be wrong, but I think it is one of the longest in the Bible. And actually, it's all Psalms means poems. So it's like basically songs that David wrote in various situations.
You, David.
Not me, David. King David, so the second king of Israel. So he wrote psalms when he was fleeing from his son's rebellion or when he was giving thanks. And then, do you have any psalms that you know?
I know by heart Psalms 91.
Oh, Psalms 91. Okay, let me go to Psalm. How do you know Psalms 91 by heart?
My mom used to be a Sunday school teacher and she taught us to us every Sunday.
Oh, do you know the whole psalm? I see that it's 16 verses. That would take you 4 days to read it.
It took a while to learn, but yeah, I think I've got the whole.
Oh, okay, so can you recite it for us?
Okay, I'll give it a go, but I definitely will get some parts wrong. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High shall rest in the shadow of the Almighty. They say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God trust. Surely.
Okay. Subi, let me stop you right there. So I told you Psalms is songs, right? It's basically see, it says here that it's a Psalm of David. So why don't you try to include some kind of melody and sing this?
Wow.
Okay? Give it to me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, no pressure. Jeez.
1, 2, 3, go.
He who dwells in the shelter. I can't do that.
Behind the hymns.
I don't know where I was going with that melody, so
Okay.
I think we should probably stop there.
I'm not sure if this is turning into an informative podcast or like a
I know.
meme type of podcast.
Oh,
but anyways, more on a serious note.
dear.
So we're going to be talking about Christian hymns.
Yeah.
And then let me read out some more passages from the Wikipedia page. So history of Christian hymns. So there is a word called canticle. And this is referring to songs. So in Latin, it literally means song. And it is talking about when biblical passages are taken directly and sung. But these are biblical passages not from the Book of Psalms, because Book of Psalms is literally all songs. So there's a very famous music philosopher slash hymn expert.
Mhm.
His name is Mr. S.Q. McClellan. And he wrote this book, Sing with Understanding, An Introduction to Christian Hymnology. And then this is how he describes a hymn: a lyric, a poem reverently and devotionally conceived, which is designed to be sung and which expresses the worshiper's attitude toward God or God's purpose in human life. It should be simple and metrical in form, genuinely emotional, poetic and literary in style, spiritual in quality, and in its ideas, so direct and so immediately apparent as to unify a congregation while singing it. Felt like I was doing a university reading there, where you read English words, but you don't really understand what it means.
Yeah.
But I think what he's basically trying to say is like there needs to be an involvement of genuine emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's a divine song.
Mm.
So at this time, I want to ask Suubi, when you think about hymns,
Mm-hmm.
how would you describe a hymn?
Ooh, I feel like I'd describe them as kind of like nice, like slow, fun, like reflective songs that are just nice to listen to and nice to sing, I think.
Mm.
What about
Fun.
you? Yeah. Some can be
Wow,
pretty fun.
Well, for example, like what?
Okay, I can't think of any at the top of my head, but I know there was some at school that we'd sing and it would just get the crowd going.
Oh, okay. So actually, that's a good point because I went to a Catholic college, so
Mhm.
Catholic secondary school, and then we
Mhm.
would have mass once every 2 weeks or once every month. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
And then I think one hymn we always used to like to sing as
Mhm.
a school was "Be still for the presence of the
Yeah.
Lord."
The Holy One is here.
Yeah, I remember that was always a crowd favorite. But I think it's worth mentioning that you know how there's modern worship songs, right? So
Yeah.
they're not considered hymns. So they're not considered hymns. They are worship songs, but they're not considered hymns. But although the title of our podcast is Behind the Hymns, where we will be looking more so at traditional hymns,
Mhm.
but if our listeners would like, so I don't know how many of you are out there, but if you would like, we could also, look into worship songs and
Yeah.
perhaps invite, singers to speak with us as well. All right. So for me, I think a hymn, to answer your question, is
Mhm.
something that needs to be sung and it sort of sets the atmosphere. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So before when it's like at the beginning of every worship or service, we're singing a hymn.
Yeah.
And it feels like lays sort of that foundation for our connection with God kind of thing. That sounded quite good there, right?
Yeah, definitely. Very informed.
Yeah. Okay. So how the podcast is going to work is every week, me and Suubi will be your host, like it or not. And we're going to invite Christian youth from different countries around Europe. And we're going to play a song, a hymn. And then we're going to listen together, react to it together. And me and Suubi will be explaining the history behind the song. And then after learning about the history, we'll ask the guest similar questions that we asked each other today. Like, what does a hymn mean for you? How long have you been a Christian? What is your favorite hymn? Etc. And then it will be just a chance to chill and listen to some good music. And then I'll hopefully find like a connection with God in a different way, right? So before we conclude, Suubi, I'd like to ask you, what is your favorite hymn and why?
My favorite hymn. Well, it's quite hard because I feel like there's a lot of hymns that I really like and just like to sing, like to listen to. But I think if I had to pick an absolute favorite, it would probably be Great Is Thy Faithfulness.
Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3.
What?
Sing it.
Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Okay, that was good.
Okay. Why is that your favorite?
I just really like it because I find like most hymns, it's just a really reassuring song to listen to. Even the lyrics, like the way it's sung, it's just very nice. And it reminds me that like in all my different situations in my life, God always stays faithful to me and never stops providing for me and like, comforting me. And it's just his faithfulness is so great. And yeah, I just really like it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. What about you?
So for me, my favorite hymn it's a famous one. It's called "It Is Well with My Soul." And
Ooh.
let
Sing it.
me this is a little spoiler, but in our next episode, this will be the first hymn we're going to be looking at. It is
Oh,
well with my soul. Do you know this song, Subi?
I do. I do very well know this
Yeah,
song.
but you're not. I'm not gonna let you sing it because I want to sing it.
Okay.
So it is well.
It is well
Thank you. It with my soul.
with my soul.
It is well.
Hey.
It is well. And then the rest you can listen to our listen to in our next podcast. All
Yeah,
right.
stay tuned.
That was like the 30-second preview you get when you don't subscribe to the music subscription.
Yeah.
Anyway. So I think this is like the first ever song that where I heard the story behind it. And
Yeah.
then because we're going to discuss it in detail in the next episode, I don't want to give too much away, but
Ooh,
it's a
just
very
tease it.
sad song. And then like if you really think about the situation that the composer or the writer of this hymn was in when he wrote this song, you know, the grace that you feel from this song, you know, comfort that he received from God. It's like double. It's like I think this hymn is also another reason why it inspired me to start this podcast.
Yeah.
Just by hearing the story and the testimony behind it, you really feel different, and the grace of God is like really doubled out in our life. So everyone stay tuned.
Behind the hymns.
If you're still with us until now, well done to you, and thank you so much.
Exactly.
All right, good.
Great job.
Much of the content today, but at least and then everyone, please give a round of applause for Subi creating that awesome jingle that you heard in the beginning and in the middle. Yes, Subi made that jingle. So everyone, just go follow us at Sia Europe.
Yeah.
Sia.Europe, CYA.Europe on Instagram.
Mhm.
And we'll be uploading stories, and then you guys can interact and then sort of ask us questions or send us your favorite hymns or any songs that you want us to listen to and react to. And we'll be more than happy to do that. All right, Subi, any final words before we say goodbye?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, so this is episode 1 of hopefully how many, Subi? Well, we should set a goal before
Ooh,
God.
should we?
How many episodes are we going for before God? Set it.
7? Did you say 7?
No, I said set the goal.
Oh. Oh wow. Okay.
I'll follow your lead.
Let's start at 10 and go from there.
Okay, 10. So
10.
if we're successful, maybe we'll extend to season 2. Right?
Exactly.
But for the first season, we'll call this the pilot season, all right?
Yeah. The pilot season? Wait, what?
Yeah. It's not a pilot episode, it's a pilot season. So we're gonna try out 10 different pilot episodes.
Yep,
So
it'll be great.
And then if we reach, I think 500, if we accumulate 500 listeners, then I think we have to. Yeah. But
I agree.
in order to do that, so yeah, hopefully God will allow us the grace to reach as many young people as possible.
Indeed.
All right, thank you, Subi. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
That's okay.
And
thank you, guys.
I'll hear from you again, and we'll end this with Subi singing Psalms 91, verse 1. Subi, take it away.
He who dwells in the shelter of the...
All right, we'll stop there. Thank you, everyone. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Behind the hymns. What does it all mean? Find out with Subi and David.